And welcome back to another episode of Being Bookish. I'm Raye, and I am joined today by author Kristina Thornton to talk about her brand new novel, 40 Going on 19. As soon as I heard the title, I thought, ooh, 13 going on 30. And then I read the book, and it is kind of feels that it has a similar tone, but not quite, especially as it's also based in Doncaster. Thank you so much for joining me today, Kristina.
Thank you for having me. It's so fun to be on here and be speaking to you today.
Well, hopefully we aren't going to both sit here and look very, very shiny because we are experiencing a lovely heat wave. I prefer heat wave at 25, not 37, but maybe I'm alone.
It's very, very hot, which, yeah, it's nice to have some sunny weather, but this is extreme, isn't it?
It is just a tiny bit. I think there's a red weather warning for tomorrow as well, but we don't need to talk about that. We are going to be talking about 40 going on 19. So this is a brand new book that comes out in July, and it's
Yes.
your second novel. Is that right?
Yes, my second novel, yes.
Fantastic. So tell us a little bit about the story because I've read it, but most of the people that are listening to this, if not all of them, will not have managed to get hold of a copy yet. So tell us all about Louisa and the story itself.
Yes, so it's romantic fiction. So it's a romantic story. And the kind of tagline for the book is two best friends, one outrageous week, 10 birthday dares, and a plan to turn the clock back just a little. So it's about Louise. She's about to turn 40 and she's sort of a bit stuck in a rut, doing the same old, and her best friend wants to get her to get out of her rut. So she whisks her away for her birthday, back to her hometown of Doncaster, and then sets her 10 challenges designed to sort of recapture her youth, but also get her sort of out of her rut as she heads to 40. And then it's sort of their escapades along the way as they do the 10 challenges. And then, yeah, she meets a love interest along the way as well.
That's the thing. And the book also starts at a wedding, not hers,
Yes.
but it starts rather a traumatic event that almost kickstarts Louise's desire to experience something new and something different.
Yes. So, yeah, without giving too much away, but yeah, it's quite a dramatic start to the book. Louise is a celebrant, so she conducts weddings and funerals. And yeah, it's what she experiences at this wedding is quite traumatic and dramatic. And then it's getting her thinking about life and where she's at when she's nearly 40. And life has been sort of the same for quite a while. She got pregnant at 19. So her son is now 20. She's been looking after him her whole adult life, basically. And now life is changing because he's becoming an adult himself. He's independent. He's got his own life. And she's starting to think about herself. What's she going to do next? What does the future look like for her? Because it's always been all about her son, Jamie, as long as she can remember. And now she's starting to think, what does life look like when I'm not just caring for Jamie all the time?
And of course, there is also that sort of juxtaposition when it comes to Louise and her friend Katie, because Katie is a new mother
Yes, yeah.
and she runs a very successful business. And the business is very much a huge part of her life that she doesn't want to abandon or put away. And when they go away on this week in Doncaster, Louise starts to notice little cracks in Katie's facade. So it's almost as though she's pushing Louise towards this new life, and Louise is noticing that a lot of it is because Katie herself is feeling very insecure.
Yes, they're both going through things to do with motherhood and sort of, yeah, careers and all sorts, really. But they're both going through things, but at different ends of the spectrum of motherhood. Katie's got a 2-year-old. Louise, the main character, has got a 20-year-old. So they're going through very different things. But Louise obviously understands what Katie's going through because she's been through it herself. And yeah, they've both got successful careers. Katie's like very obsessed with hers. But yeah, they both want to get away, really, for different reasons, or it's Katie's idea for them to get away, but they've got their own issues going on. So yeah, my aim was to write a fun book, a fun romance, hopefully with some funny moments, but also, yeah, touching on different issues such as aging and empty nest syndrome, sort of self-discovery, which can happen again and again through life, I think. And also, I started
Absolutely.
writing it when I was sort of late 30s, almost going to be turning 40. And I was having those sorts of thoughts myself of, am I where I want to be, and that kind of thing. And I do tend to freak out when I come up to a big birthday and start questioning everything. So Louise is a fictional character, and her story is fictional, but it definitely some of my own feelings and thoughts of, oh my gosh, I'm turning 40, was definitely in the story. That's kind of where it, I suppose, started with me thinking about these sorts of things of, I'm about to turn 40. Oh my gosh, I'm married and I've got, I mean, my children are 13 and 9. Oh, I'm a proper adult now. And just, yeah, having these thoughts of where's life going to go next. And I wanted to sort of channel those into Louise.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, the funny thing is, you say the fear or the awe at reaching a big birthday. I didn't have that feeling when I turned 40. I hit it when I turned 41.
Oh, really? That's
When I
interesting.
turned 41, it was, I'm now legitimately in my 40s. And
See,
the funny thing is, I felt the same when I turned 50. I turned
yes,
50 and it was like, whatever. I turned 51 and it was, I'm in my 50s. It really was that horrible realization that there was no, I mean, there is no turning back anyway, but it would
yes.
be quite nice to look back at something and go, you know what, that wasn't so bad. And I have to be honest, I kind of preferred my 40s to my 30s.
Interesting. Oh, that's good. That's nice to hear.
All about accepting that these things are going to happen. I mean, I don't have children, but my sister does have quite a few children. And I notice, I don't know if it's a generational thing, but being a Gen Xer, latchkey kid, very, very independent, go outside and come back when the lights come on outside. I don't need to know where you are. There wasn't the constant tracking. Louise is very concerned about Jamie, and Jamie doesn't, though he's independent, he's got a good job and he's moving up in the world and everything. He still seems to be incredibly dependent on his mum for a lot of things. And Katie is the one that seems quite angry at that or frustrated at it.
Yeah, I think Katie's thinking, oh, he's an adult now. You need to let him get on with his life. And this is your time. She became a mum so young at 19 and missed out on doing some of the things that she had planned for herself, and didn't end up doing them because she got pregnant and then focused on Jamie. And she's made Jamie her whole world because there was certain things that she wanted to do that she couldn't do because she had a young child. So her new focus became looking after him and making sure he had the best life and he could have all the opportunities. And then she's kind of gone along in that for so long, sort of him and her against the world. And then she's always looked after him, and he's sort of helped her more as he's got older. And he's just always been the focus, and she's not sure how else to live. And she's kind of at this crossroads of, I know I need to let go, but I don't really want to. And I don't know what to do if I do let go. And it's kind of, yeah, that crossroads. And a best friend can see that there's so much life that she could be living that she isn't. She's just stuck in this routine that she's always done and which she needed as a single mum. Routine helped her survive.
Yeah.
It gave Jamie structure. She knew what she was doing, but she's got stuck into that routine, and she can break free of it now and do whatever she wants. But that she hasn't really sort of realised that at the beginning of the book.
And there's also an element of fear, perhaps,
Yes,
that she's
yeah,
now going to have to find something else to focus on. And it cannot just be Jamie potentially going to university or not, Jamie's career, Jamie's progression. There has to be that element of cutting the apron strings and
yes,
letting him become his own man, maybe discovering things by failing at them. And
yes.
it
She
also
just wants to
seems as
wrap him
though
in cotton wool.
maybe she's also a little bit afraid of failing herself.
Yeah, I think she is a bit actually. Because I don't want to go into too much, but yeah,
No.
she wanted to be a vet. She wanted to go to university and excuse me, study for all these years to become a vet, and then she couldn't do that because she became pregnant. So she had sort of quite big ambitions that she wasn't able to do. Um, so yeah, she's sort of living through Jamie and needs to learn not to do that. And she is a bit of a worrier anyway. And that one of the reasons why Katie takes her back to her hometown of Doncaster is because Louise is afraid of flying, so she wouldn't go away on holiday to another country or anything like that. And Katie wants Louise to reconnect with her youth. So she thinks, oh, that she'll be able to do that in her hometown. Let's take her back to her hometown and she can pretend she's 19 again. There's lots of layers to it, really.
Now, there's also, for me, obviously, I mean, I still live in the place I grew up in because strong family connections. I've been here. Well, I'm kind of like sixth generation on one side to live in the town I live
Wow.
in. And my sister's children, obviously, they are generation 7 and generation 8. But it's that, I think for her, there's also, it read as though there was also this not only reconnecting with her past, but also showing her what she could do if she opened her mind up to it. So it doesn't have to, just because you're turning 40 doesn't mean your life is over. To be fair, you've still got another 27 years before you can retire.
Yes, it was about sort of making her realise that yeah, you're not that old. There's still loads that you could do, and getting her to meet different people along the way that could open her eyes to that. And she loves going back to Doncaster. That's where she's from, and she loved growing up there, and yeah, having friends and family. But then it's when she became pregnant and sort of was disappointed with not being able to achieve some of the things she wanted to achieve. It sort of started to feel a bit claustrophobic, and she wanted to then branch out, and she ends up moving to Nottingham, which is where she wanted to go to university. So it's kind of tied into that. But yeah, it's just she wants to reconnect and get back to Doncaster. And well, I'm from Doncaster originally, and I wanted to set a romance in Doncaster because I've never read one. So I wanted to put Doncaster on the map, and I knew that there was certain things that I could do in Doncaster, of certain parts of the story that I could bring out there.
That's the thing, you've got the hometown advantage
Yes.
because you grew up there and you were from there. I think that's the thing, isn't it? Is I don't see many books based in where I live. I know that Sanditon was apparently inspired by here, and well, so Lady Susan, and also the importance of being earnest.
Okay.
Two claims to fame: Oscar Wilde and Jane Austen. Don't mind that, pretty good company. But it's always interesting to see your imagined history or ideas on the page. So when you were writing this, were you thinking, oh, I can include that place, or I can include this particular thing that I remember from when I was a teenager walking around the streets of Doncaster with my friends?
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to write a scene, of them going out on a night out in Doncaster town centre, well, city centre now. And I knew I wanted to do that. And I really enjoyed writing that scene. And I write in order. So it's chapter 1, chapter 2. I don't sort of dodge around it and do it all in order. So when I got to that scene, I was like, yes, finally I can write that scene. Just because I have been out in Doncaster sort of years down the line after I've moved away, and been out and been like, oh, that's changed, or that pub was there and that's not there anymore, and that's, oh, why isn't everything the same? And of course it's changed. I've moved on, I've gone somewhere else, and Doncaster's going to change as well. So just having those feelings of nostalgia and thinking about the nights out you had, and then discovering, oh, it's different, but then Louise still goes on to have a great night out. It can still be brilliant. It's not as it was. So yeah, I knew I wanted to do that and talk about some of the places that used to be big when I was younger. So when Louise would have been around the same age as well. And anybody who is from Yorkshire or knows Doncaster will probably recognise those places and be like, oh, I know what she's talking about. I mean, some locations are fictional, but I've used real ones as well. So there's some like pubs and nightclubs that I've mentioned from sort of 20 plus years ago, and people who know the area will know what I'm talking about. But
It's that
also, if you've never
nostalgia.
been to Doncaster, you can still understand.
I think anybody can understand nostalgia. I
Yeah.
will sometimes, I don't live very far from the town centre. I hadn't been in there for ages because I didn't need to go. And I went into town. It's like, when did that close?
I think strange like, hey.
When did that turn into another bar?
And it's disconcerting. I'm like, oh, I want it to stay as I remember it. But of course, things change and move on. So, yeah, which is what's happened in Louise's life. Things have changed and moved on. And she can still fondly remember the past, but then she needs to forge a new future as well.
That's it with the whole, obviously this is a romance, so we have the introduction of a love interest, but we also have the reintroduction of her ex, her son's father, Matthew, at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
And it's almost as though it's the past that was potential meeting the past that failed,
Yes.
and that the first element of her past becoming a possible future.
Yeah, I wanted it to I don't know if it ended up being that in the end. I wanted to sort of maybe be a bit of a red herring at first of like, oh, who's she going to end up with? Is she going to get back with the ex, or is it going to be the other guy that she's met? But I don't think it really ended up being like that. But I wanted to just bring a bit of her past, just so you can understand Louise a bit more, so you know what she's been through and what's happened in her life and why she is the worrier stuck in a rut, doesn't really want to try new things, and so to help the reader understand why she is the way she is, and Katie is her best friend wanting to bring her out of her shell and show her the world, basically, like, you can do anything now, you don't just have to focus on someone else. What do you want to do? What do you want? And she's just so not used to thinking about her own needs that it takes a while for her to sort of realize she can do that now.
Yeah, there is that moment of resistance. Have to be honest, I never thought that there was a single chance
Yes,
that
okay,
she would be,
interesting.
because of all the little bits, the snippets that we were given about the past and everything that had happened. I honestly never sat there and thought, oh yeah, she'll go with that one,
Yeah, I think
because
it came into my mind at one point that that could be a red herring, then I thought, no, that's not really gonna, I don't think that's going to work.
I
But
think we found out, we learned too much about that particular situation for it to ever be a possibility
mm,
without the reader sitting there and going, "Are you joking? Is she stupid?"
I like it. I like it.
I'm very honest, and I sat there and I thought, "There's no way that's going to work.
Yes.
No way on earth." I was kind of relieved.
Good.
I obviously, the main love interest is Tom. And we
Yes.
have to talk about him. He is an ex-rugby player,
Mhm.
very, very strong, reliable. There are moments where obviously Louise looks at him and says, "Oh, he's never been through what I've been through, so he's still quite young. He never had to grow up the way I did."
Yeah.
And she does have that moment where she's judging him for not having lived her life. But
Yes.
at the same time, you start to learn more about him and then find out that actually there is a lot more to him. He's kind of like, what is it? Shrek says, "I am layered like an onion."
Yeah, definitely. Like she's judging him because he's still hanging around with the same school friends, and he seems quite similar to how he was when he was younger. And he's done a lot of things that she hasn't done, and she's just like, oh yeah, he's not really grown up. But yeah, she's judging him, and of course, he's had his own struggles. Not everything has been perfect. It might seem that at first, just like with Katie, her best friend, Louise thinks she's got everything sorted. when really, of course, she's struggling. Everybody's got their own struggles, and it's no one sort of presents what they're going through immediately. So he might seem a bit arrogant and smug, and he's got it all sorted out, and life's just a breeze. But of course, it isn't that way. And as she gets to know him more, she realizes, of course, he's going through things and he's had struggles in his life. And yeah, sort of learning that she shouldn't judge straight away.
So where did you get the inspiration for their characters? Was it a lot of these are the things that I am feeling, or speaking with friends, or was it purely, I want to tell this story, this character is living in my head rent free at the moment?
Oh, that's a good question. I need to think about this one. Well, yeah, I knew I wanted to do a story that had a very sort of definitive short time frame. So most of the novel is set over 1 week.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of started, because my debut novel, Claire Morris's Completely Lost, is set over about 18 months. And I really struggled with like keeping the time frame and remembering what was going on. And I thought, if I write it over a week, will it be easier? It's not. It's still
No.
hard. It's still very hard to write a novel.
Well, there's still a lot of complex moving pieces in here with
Yes.
character emotions, and you're still developing and growing in that time.
So yeah, there's still loads of threads that you're trying to keep track of, and yeah, even though it's mostly set over 1 week, you still go back into other parts of their lives to give greater understanding, and there's memories and all that kind of thing. And I knew I wanted to do the 10 challenges, and I just wanted the main character to have been through something. So that's where the getting pregnant at 19 and then trying to recapture the youth. I suppose it did come from the fact that I was about to turn 40, and I wanted to tell a story of someone turning 40 and their feelings about it, and sort of almost restarting their life. Like one period has ended and it's a new beginning. Yeah, Louise isn't particularly based on anybody, and Tom isn't either. I mean, with Tom, I just wanted him to be very, very hunky, and and just to Louise to be like, oh, it's Tom Gardner from school. Oh my gosh, like the popular lad from school.
Yeah, I remember the popular lad from school. I humiliated myself in front of him at the cinema.
No, because you always remember I think you always like full name them as well. It was Tom Gardner, the Tom Gardner, and to have that kind of moment. But yeah, it's just maybe little parts of my life and things that I'm very sweaty. Things that sort of happened in my life, and so yeah, bits of nostalgia and stuff in there. But yeah, I just knew the type of story I wanted to write, and then yeah, Louise and Tom came to me somehow. I'm not sure exactly how, but yeah, I knew I wanted a hunky, sporty lead, love interest, and Louise to be struggling and stuck in a rut. And yeah, the story came from somewhere. I'm not sure where.
And then obviously you have all the other characters with their various life struggles and experiences happening around Louise and Tom, and Louise's rediscovery of her teenage years
Yes.
in a way.
Yeah, the idea of Katie setting these 10 challenges and 5 of them to be things that Louise has talked about missing out on when she was 19, and then 5 things to broaden her horizons as she's turning 40. So yeah, some fun sort of zany, crazy challenges, but then some not so zany, crazy, but to get her thinking about the future. And yeah, that was a lot of fun to write and to think of 10 challenges. It took me a while to think of the 10 challenges. There was a few that I knew immediately that I wanted to do, but some of them took a little bit longer, especially knowing that Louise is a worrier. She doesn't really like to do new things. So Katie's trying to stretch her, but she wouldn't put her completely out of her comfort zone. So there has to be something a little bit zany, but it wouldn't be too crazy, because Louise just wouldn't do that, and Katie knows that. So it was just finding the right challenges that I could tell the story through.
And obviously Louise and Katie's relationship is quite fraught at moments because of Louise's own, again, assumptions about Katie's behavior and the reason why she is so relieved to get away and be with her friend somewhere far away from her husband and their daughter.
Yes.
So it puts some tension in there as well, which I found quite interesting because I've been away with a friend before now. We've shared a hotel room, and it doesn't matter how much you absolutely love that friend. By the end of that period of time together, you are ready to strangle each other
Yeah, it's
through
hard to
through
go on
nothing
holiday.
other than close proximity.
Yeah, to be with someone 24/7, it's a lot, isn't it? And yeah, I've been away with a friend and we got on really, really well, and then had an argument on the last night. Because you've just been with each other too much, and it's hard to be in someone's pocket. I think if you can go away on holiday with somebody and you still get on, then yeah, they're a good friend or a good partner. Like, you're meant to be in each other's lives. But yeah, I wanted there to be a bit of drama with Louise and Katie, and it not just be with Louise and Tom, and for there to be a moment in the novel of where it's all going wrong, it's all falling apart. What's she going to do next?
Because obviously when you are close friends, there are going to be certain things that you won't necessarily feel comfortable talking about, even if you are the closest of friends. And
Yeah.
obviously Katie is having all these feelings. She's very, very confused about certain parts of her life. She feels guilty almost
Mm.
because there is this, she's got a young child, and she is not pushing her family away, but she is trying to balance everything out, and she
Yeah,
doesn't feel
it's
like she
hard
can
to
talk to
have.
anybody about it.
Yeah, it's hard to have a 2-year-old and be working full time and sort of be a woman that's doing it all. And we were sort of told that yeah, women can have it all, which yeah, I suppose in some ways is true, but that puts a lot of pressure on somebody. Of you can have, you know, the perfect life and the great husband and the lovely daughter and this massive career, and you won't find it stressful, and your everything will be fine. And of course it's a lot. And of course, she's struggling, sort of juggling all these different things. But from the outside, even though Louise and Katie are close, they don't tell each other everything. There's little bits that they've not shared with each other. And Louise just thinks, oh yeah, Katie's got it all together. She's got this great, successful career and business, and she's got the husband, and she's got the daughter, and they're together. And like Louise is a bit jealous of that, really, of she managed to settle down with her partner and have the family life that she didn't manage to have, and she's sad that that didn't work out, and she just thinks, oh, Katie's got everything, like what has she got to moan about? She's got everything. Which of course isn't the case. She's struggling, and it's hard. To have everything is hard. So yeah, there's lots of little bits going on, sort of push and pull between Louise and Tom and Louise and Katie, of these sort of little issues and their own problems bubbling to the surface, and reading other people the wrong way and thinking one thing when actually it's something else, and to have that sort of those confusing relationships.
It's there are a lot of assumptions in their
Yes.
friendships, and assumptions can be so dangerous,
Mm.
as everybody knows. Assumptions can be one of those things you can jump out of the frying pan into something completely different, not necessarily even a fire, but you can go from, oh, this is my favorite person on the planet, to I don't want to speak to this person again because you've assumed something about them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, then they start opening up a bit more towards the end, as they're sort of figuring things out. Which, and I think at the end of the week, everyone's a bit better off. I think people have learned some things about themselves, and yeah, their relationships have moved on.
And I think that it was a moment of growth for Louise, because obviously she was turning 40. She had, her son was getting far more independent, and she knew there was something that wasn't being shared, which we are not going to go into. And and obviously she also has this whole thing with Tom, which came out of nowhere, and she has no idea where it's going. She can't see initially any future in it because he's still Tom the lad, who has a bar in Spain, plus the place that they're staying, the hotel B&B that they're staying in with the bar and everything else. And
Mm.
he seems like he's so Jack the lad that is still living in his late teens, early 20s, when in
Yeah.
actual fact that is not really the case.
Yeah, she just assumes that because he's confident and a bit smug and arrogant is how she first reads him. That yeah, he was bit of a ladies' man kind of thing at school, and that's
Yeah,
who
but
he
they all are
still
when they're
is.
that good looking.
Yeah, he gets lots of attention, so she just assumes, oh yeah, that's what he's like. Um, when yeah, not necessarily so. And yeah, he's had his own struggles and he's trying to make his own sort of path in life. And he's not completely what she thinks he is at first. And there's yeah, misunderstandings of her thinking he's maybe dating other people. And yeah, it's just misunderstanding over misunderstanding sometimes, which is great for a story.
But the
um,
thing is, I mean, he's very open about who he is.
yeah,
From the
yeah,
very
he knows
beginning,
who he
he's
is.
incredibly open and honest with her about the person he is. She's just seeing it the way that she thinks she should, because every single action she's interpreting the way that she remembers him being rather than for the
Yeah,
person he is standing in front of her. And I think that is often an issue when you go back to somewhere after a very long time and you look at someone and you go, you haven't changed, because certain things about them still appear to be the same.
yeah, yeah. Like she judges him at first for still being friends with people from school, and then much later on is can see why that he is. They're really good friends. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't he be friends with them still? It doesn't have to. And she sort of reframes how she sees it. She sees it as a negative, and then she realizes this is a positive that he's still got these people in his life. Why was I thinking that was such a negative, bad thing? Why was that a negative? So yeah, it's just it's funny, is it, when you reframe things in your own mind,
Yeah.
sometimes something you think, oh, that's why is he doing that? That's ridiculous. And then you're like, obviously that's it's because of this. And then you realize, yes, I think it's just as she grows herself and stops thinking about Jamie as much and is thinking about what she wants and seeing things differently, she then starts to see him differently as well. He's not who she first thought. Yeah.
And obviously, as well, I mean, he's still in Doncaster and she moved away.
Mm.
So the friendship thing makes far more sense from his perspective. He didn't move away and almost sort of try to move away from his past. He's
Yes.
still living it almost, but he has grown up.
Yeah.
So you talked about these 10 tasks that
Yes.
Katie outlines. I mean, my favorite one was the knitting. I do actually knit. Uh,
I don't knit.
I thought that that sounded like my perfect. I knit and I crochet. That would be my perfect afternoon. We have somewhere that does that round here. We've actually got a knitting shop relatively close, but it's always during the day when I'm at work, so I can't do it, which is quite sad. But when I retire one day, if that ever happens, I will definitely be joining the S&B girlies at our local knitting shop if it's still there. But were there any that you picked because you wanted to do them or you've done them and you found them fun? Or were they, oh, well, this is something that I think that she might do or might not do, as the case may be?
um, no, it's not things that I've particularly done or I'm planning on doing, really. Like, I'm not planning on taking a knitting class. I mean, I've tried knitting. My mum did try and teach me when I was little, and I made a scarf for my Barbie. But that's as far as my knitting went. Um, yeah, I don't know how much to go into about what the challenges are. Do I reveal the challenges? I'm not sure.
You could reveal the one that you would do.
The one. I don't know whether to say that one or not. Oh, I don't want to ruin it. That's the thing. I mean, like going on a night out, and that's one of them, which I've kind of talked about a bit. I think that's always fun to go back to somewhere and have that night out. But yeah, some of the crazier ones I might I might do. But then there's parts of Louise that she is a bit of a worrier, and I am a bit of a worrier, and I just sort of do think about things a little bit too much. So maybe that is part of me sort of speaking to myself of like, you need to not worry about everything and overthink everything, just dive in sometimes. So maybe that's, yeah, it's a little bit of me. But yeah, the night out bit was just something that I really wanted to explore, and I really enjoyed writing. And yeah, some of the crazier challenges as well were just so much fun to write. And it's lovely when you get to those scenes that you've been looking forward to writing, and it just flows, because there's parts of the novel where I've just be writing and it would take a long time just to get a few hundred words out, because it's just tougher sometimes. And yeah, but when it just flows, just like, yes, oh, this is what it's all about. Because when it's hard, you think, why am I writing this, why am I doing this? And then when you get to the scenes that you've been looking forward to writing, and it just works, it's such a great feeling. So yeah.
So you said we've touched on this, you said that you write every scene in order. So you write chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter
Yeah.
3. Is that how you have always written? Because you were a journalist. So did you always write things that way? Was it research and then writing the opening, the middle, and the end paragraphs? Or is this something that you've developed for writing longer form novels?
Well, I suppose it is how I've always approached. I mean, yeah, for the first draft, it's yeah, from the beginning, middle, and end. And then obviously within editing, I might add in a new scene here or a new scene there, or move things around. But with getting the story out, yes, it's all in order. Yeah, with because I worked in radio, the scripts, the news stories that I wrote were very, very short, so 15 seconds copy, or maybe a little bit longer if you had some audio. Um, so they were very, very short scripts. So yeah, I think you'd always just start at the beginning. I always started at the top line. So yeah, maybe it does come from my journalism days. But yeah, I always underwrite. So my novels need to be around 80,000 words. And I always am 50, 60,000 words for the first draft, because I am so used to writing so tight for journalism.
Yeah.
I have to get a whole news story into 15 seconds. To then write a novel is quite different. And yes, I still try. I don't know if I'll always underwrite, hopefully not, because it's painful to try and get up to the length that it needs to be. I'm hoping I'll start writing longer. But yeah, I just naturally keep it very snappy. And then I have to go back in and add more scenes and more description, and think about all the senses and add extra details in, because I just go for it, and it's always really, really short. And I hear of writers saying that they overwrite and they need to cut it down. I'm like, what is that like? I have never done that.
That sounds like my university essays. I need 2,000 words. I've written 3,500.
I just find it fascinating that some people will be like, oh, if I've written 150,000 words, it needs to be closer to 90,000. I need to cut all these words. I've never I've had to cut bits out. I have cut scenes out, but that's once I have to really work and struggle to get to the word count that I need to get to, and then I'll take bits out and add new bits and move it around. But just to get to 80,000 words, I find quite difficult to get to the length of a novel.
Well, is there any scene that you wrote for this book that ended up on the cutting room floor that you wish hadn't?
Ooh, interesting. There was kind of, because it's a closed door romance.
Yes.
Because that's with a US publisher, Harper Press, and that's their style. That's the kind of books that they sell, and that does well for them. So there was one spicy scene that was in there that they asked me to cut because it's not their style. So it's to make it closed door, and I didn't mind doing that if that's what works, if that's what gets the book out there, great. But I loved that scene. It worked really well, and I've still got it saved on my computer. I want to use it somewhere else at some
I was
point.
going to say, is it something that you could post on your website as here's a bonus scene for those who want to see an open door love scene?
Yeah, possibly. I could do that. Yeah, I haven't really thought of doing that. I've just sort of squirreled it away and thought maybe in a future novel I'll get to repurpose this scene.
I've seen, so the funny thing is I see a lot more authors doing it. I know that Lindsay Kelk one of her with her latest um with her latest adult romance, her latest contemporary romance, not the one that she's releasing this year under a pseudonym, she released a scene that she sent out in her newsletter.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, I have got a newsletter, so that's a good idea. I could do that. Um yeah, because it does, you do cut scenes sometimes. I mean, obviously not that much because I struggle to get to the word count, but I can't cut it. There'll be nothing left. But yeah, I did like that scene and it did work nicely. But I understand why Harpeth Road asked me to remove it. It's not their style, and yeah, it works. I think it still works really well without it. But yeah, I'm gonna
I
maybe.
wouldn't have I until you said anything, I wouldn't have known it wasn't there.
Oh, that's good. So it's been removed successfully. It's not
Well,
missing.
I think the thing is, there is so much chemistry on the page between the characters that it's the insinuation that something happens is already there. You
Yeah,
don't necessarily need it to be spelt out explicitly that
no,
this goes on behind the closed door. I mean, the fact that the scene was there and it was cut out so well that you don't notice it was gone says a lot.
yes, yeah. So I think, yeah, it's still a sweet, nice moment. I just had, yeah, I had to edit it, change it, and move it all around. But yeah, I think it still has the same feeling that I was trying to convey without the sort of more explicit open door scene.
Absolutely. So have you already planned? I know that obviously this one's not being published for a few weeks, but have you already started planning out the next one? And what is the process when you are thinking about or going into the stages of first writing a book?
Yeah, I have written another one. I've written my third book, and written the first chapter of the fourth one. I
Wow.
get a little bit obsessed, and I just, once I'm in the zone, I want to keep going. Yeah, I always start off with, I did a novel writing course a few years ago, which it was a year-long course, and the idea was it took you from an idea to your first draft throughout the year. And so there's things I did on that course which I still do now, of sort of do questionnaires for the main characters. I sort of map out who they are, what's their date of birth, where did they grow up, who are their parents, what food do they like all these different questions to get to know the characters. And then usually I plot out sort of the 10 main points of the novel and the main scenes that I'm going to write. So yeah, I'm very much a planner, and I plan out what the main things are going to be along the way, the main plot, with some of the threads that are going to be
Yeah.
there. And then there is space while I'm writing to go in different directions. Like the way I get from one to another might just change as I'm going along. So there is a mix of a lot of planning, and yes, I'll get from A to B to C to D, but it might go sort of all over the place to get there. So there is freedom within the planning as well.
So there's contingency just in case something doesn't quite go in the direction you're hoping it will.
Well, yeah, and sometimes just when I'm writing, something just pops into my head, and oh yeah, I'll try that out. And it's not just, I won't stick to the plan. I don't have to absolutely stick to it, but there's certain points that I want to reach, but it's not completely mapped out how I'm going to get there.
So do your characters have minds of their own?
A little bit, yes. So you hear that a lot, don't you, with writers, of like, oh,
Oh
the
yeah,
characters
100%.
do them do what they want.
Yep.
Which I kind of get what they mean. Of, you sit down to write a particular scene, you start doing something else because it just happened. So yeah, they just
Sometimes it's not a bad thing because it means that they've built such a real, they are so real in your head
yes.
that they are communicating, no, I wouldn't do this.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend not that long ago about it was about my first novel and the characters in that. And he said to me, "Oh, you're speaking about them like they're real people." I'm like, "Well, they kind of are." In this story, they are. You have to think of them as real, and you want to try and bring them to life. And the way I was talking about them, it's as if they're real. Um, because yeah, you really get into their head, I suppose. I mean, you have to imagine yourself as them as you're writing so you can imagine what they're feeling and thinking and seeing, and sort of embody the characters.
100%. I think that helps the reader to connect with them as well.
Yeah, and sometimes I think
And that's what you want.
yes, and I think sometimes you can get too much into the head of the character, because then you're just expecting people to know what they're thinking, and you need to like explain it a little bit more. You're so into it, like yes, you know. Oh no, you don't. I need to actually describe and to set out the scene here. But yeah,
But that's
it's
not a
fun.
bad thing though.
Yeah, it's fun, but yeah, it's a lot of work goes into writing a novel, a lot more than what I thought when I first sat down and tried to write. The amount of editing is crazy.
Yes, I used to be an editor.
Oh dear, oh really? Oh, so you know all about that then.
Yes, it can be a very, very painful process when you're working with someone who is incredibly resistant to the changes that you know need to be made.
Yes. I always I I do love getting edits, but when I first read them, I do get into a bit of a mardy and a bit of a grump of like,
But it's personal.
but then I usually, or almost 100% of the time, the next day I'll come back to it, having slept, fresh eyes, and I'll be like, yeah, they've got a point. I can see what they're saying, and I usually end up doing all the changes because yes, it's just brilliant to have fresh eyes on it because you can't see the problems. You've looked at it so much, you get to a point where you can no longer see how you can improve it because there's been so
Yeah.
many edits already. So to have someone else's eyes, but when someone suggests, "Oh no, that's not the beginning. You need a completely different beginning," you're like, "Really? I've worked on this for ages. I've got to do a whole new beginning." Okay. So you've got to let yourself absorb it and have a little bit of a grump about that, and then come back to it and be like, "Yes, I can do this. This is the right thing for the story," and get back into it. I just need to always allow myself to have that moment of, "Oh, really? Do I have to do more?" And then, yes, I do. That is the right thing to do. I'm going to do it.
I think that's it. It's accepting that it's almost like that. You know, the puzzles that you quite often see appearing on Facebook and things where they've got, if you can read this, you've got a left brain or something, and they're missing out the
Yes.
letters. That's almost what something that you have been writing and editing for weeks, months, years can start to look like. You miss the little things because you expect to see what you are sure you've written.
Yes, yeah, and yeah, you become just too close to it. I think you can self edit to a point, but yeah, when you've been working on it for so long, to then get fresh eyes from an editor is yeah, it does take it to the next level. Because when I signed with Harpeth Road Press, I had already edited the novel so many times, but then it has to go through a further 4 rounds with the publisher, and it made it so much better. It needed it, but you think, oh, really, 4 rounds? I've already edited it so many times, but it's just you've got to keep reading it, and you spot something new each time that you think, oh yeah, I need to change that, or there's that little typo, or that's not quite right. Yeah, it can always be improved. It's hard to stop. Then you can always keep editing
You
forever.
could edit it out of existence if you tried hard enough.
Yes.
If you weren't writing contemporary romance, is there a genre that you would love to dip a toe into?
Yeah, I do love romance novels, women's fiction, romantic fiction. It's what I tend to read. I am writing what I like to read. I did write a horror sort of ghost story, short story, and I really enjoyed that. So maybe I could do longer form, sort of ghost horror. I used to read point horror when I was a teenager.
Point
But
horror
it's
didn't come out until I was in my, I think, early 20s.
oh right, okay. Yeah, I used to love Point Horror and R.L. Stein. I read all his books. Um, but yeah, it's just always been romance. I love if a story's got a romantic thread to it. Most even films and books that aren't billed as romance usually have some sort of relationship in them, and that's always the bit that I'm interested in, even if it's an action movie and there's just a tiny little plot of there having some sort of romance. That's what I'm focusing on. Just that's what I find
Yeah,
entertaining.
in another life, I did a podcast with a friend called Romance Isn't Dead, and in that we pulled out romance in things like the Marvel movies and Star Wars.
Well, yeah, it's in everything, and I think
Yes,
people can be a little bit snobby sometimes about romantic fiction, and like
but
it's
romantic fiction
less than.
saved the publishing industry.
Yeah, it's very successful. Lots of people like to read it, and it's in most genres. It's everywhere.
Mm,
It's relationships. Everybody has relationships, and that's in most stories.
yeah.
And yeah, and it's what I love to read. So I can't really imagine writing a novel in a different genre. We're just with. I'm starting my to write my fourth one. I'm just starting to think: could I do a dual POV and be do the sort of the main character and the love interest? Because I've always done it just from sort of the woman's point of view, and that seems a bit like, oh, could I do that? Could I do some chapters being in the man's head? Um, and I'm just sort of playing around with that and whether that could be a possibility. But yeah, I've never really even thought about writing a thriller or something like that. I just love romantic fiction, and you can do so much in it. I know there's tropes and there's sort of certain story bits that you're supposed to hit and things, but you can always make it your own. You can always
Yeah.
make it your own story. I know people say, "Oh, it's formulaic," or it always the same sort. There's if it's romance, there's a happily ever after. But I like that. That's comforting that there's a happily ever after. It's the journey along the way that's the interesting bit. How are they going to get there? And that can be told in a million different ways.
And getting to know the characters and their past experiences and their future expectations as well.
Yeah, yeah. I really enjoy it, and it's what I like to read, and just what I like to write as well.
Which isn't the thing. I think the thing is, everybody finds their niche.
Yeah,
And if it's the niche, if the niche ends up being the niche that you not only love writing but also love reading, then it's the perfect pairing. I mean,
yeah,
I'm looking at this side of my room, is this side of my library is far more. I've got an entire shelf of Joanna Lindsay, every single book she ever wrote, because I loved the 1980s 1970s historical romances. Then I have got entire shelf of Jilly Cooper, Jenny Colgan, Katie Ford, and Lucy Diamond, and Jill Mansell, and Paige Toon. And that's pretty much the entirety of two whole columns of my bookcase.
yeah. I love Katie Ford. I've read a lot of Katie Ford, and Marion Keyes, and yeah, Jill Mansell, and
Yeah,
yeah,
Marion Keyes is in the other room.
and Emily Henry as well, and just all those sort of types of writers. It's just such sort of lovely stories that that's all. I always sort of reach for those kind of stories if I'm looking for a holiday read or just to chill out at home. That's the kind of story I want to be watching. But with like sort of telly and films, I'll watch whatever really. I like sort of the Black Mirror kind of stories. I mean, that would be interesting to write one of those kind of stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always romance. I'm just obsessed by romance.
And didn't I think Jenny Colgan wrote a Doctor Who, I believe?
Oh, really? I mean, yeah, you can write anything really, can't you? It's just what you're drawn to, I suppose.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of contemporary romance authors are turning to fantasy now.
Yeah.
Because of course romantic fantasy, of which I've got quite a lot behind me, is another very popular genre, but
Yeah,
people
that's
don't
taken
say,
off.
oh, it's romance, but it kind of is.
Yes, yeah.
So with your next novel, is that going to be a 2027 project?
Hopefully, like, I don't know who's going to publish that yet. So it's just, yeah, seeing what I can do with it. I know Harper Press are keen to see how 40 going on 19 does. And then it's, yeah, sort of trying to find the right person to publish it. So yeah, it's ready to go in my mind, obviously with more edits. There's always more edits. But yeah, so I'd love that to come out next year, but I don't know what's happening with it at the moment.
Well, hopefully you will know relatively soon.
Yeah.
Waiting is always a painful game, I think.
Yes, it's just, yeah, finding the right publisher for it. And yes, I haven't got a literary agent at the moment, so I would love to get a literary agent one day, but that hasn't happened as yet. So it's just sort of, yeah, trying to climb the ladder in the publishing world as I release each novel and hopefully become more successful each time.
Well, all you can do is wait and see. And obviously, with 40 going on 19 coming out in July,
Yes,
there
very
is
soon.
there's a lot of time for things to happen, and
Yeah,
obviously fingers firmly crossed that it's going to go really well.
yeah, I
So
hope
thank
so.
you so thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you
Is
for
there
having me.
where can people find you so they can learn more about the books, and obviously not only 40 going on 14 but your first novel as well?
So yeah, you could. I'm on Instagram at Kristina Thornton author, and I've got my website as well, which is Kristina-Thornton.com. Yeah, I'm also on X, and I've just joined TikTok. I'm trying to get into TikTok at the
Oh
moment.
wow. I keep on forgetting to post there.
Because yeah, romance is so big on there, isn't it? So I thought I need to be on TikTok, so I've just started that. I'm on Facebook, so yeah, I'm on all the usual social media, and I'm trying to get into TikTok and get the hang of that.
It's difficult. It's one of those I keep on forgetting that I actually have a TikTok account. And
Yeah.
then I get an email saying such and such has a liked a video of yours, and I'm thinking I haven't posted anything for about 4 months.
Well, it's difficult, isn't it, with all these different social medias of like which one do you focus on and which one you could, yeah, spend a lot of time posting on all of them. And really, I just want to be writing my book, but it's nice to go on there and speak to other writers and speak to readers as well. It's really good, but
Absolutely.
try
It's a
not
really
to
good
spend
place to
too much.
network.
Yeah, it's great to speak to, yeah, other authors and to speak to readers. There's a nice sort of writing community on there, but I try not to go on too much because, yeah, you end up, yeah, just scrolling forever, don't you, and not getting much else done. It can just sort of suck you in sometimes.
Exactly. I set a limit on mine. I set a time limit and it shuts down.
Oh,
And if
that's
I
good.
want to open it back up again, I have to go into my settings and basically admit that I'm a naughty person and I needed to doom scroll for longer.
As long as you get other things done as well, and it's not just what you're doing, then that's okay.
Exactly. I think so. But thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And obviously, 40 going on 19 is coming out in July by Harper Press.
That's right. Yes, end of July.
And yeah, it is a really fun closed door romance. And I think that a lot more people are trying to find closed door now. I noticed it when I was scrolling the other day, people going, anybody have any closed door romance recommendations? So that I think that is something that is really important to stress for those readers who aren't looking for explicit scenes of any nature, but that
Yeah.
may come at a later date on the newsletter.
Yeah.
Don't forget to sign up for Kristina's newsletter. I will be posting all of the links in the info box below. And is there anything else you'd like to share?
Oh, I don't think so. I really hope people enjoy 40 going on 19, a second chance, small town romance. And yeah, I hope people really enjoy it. I've tried to make it as romantic and as sort of funny and fun as possible.
Well, thank you again so much. And I think this is going to be a fantastic, fantastic book for people who love the contemporary romance field and genre to get their teeth stuck into.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you.